In today's video, we're going to check out the Inspire series from Baseus. These are brand new audio solutions from in-ear, over-the-ear, as well as we actually even have an open-ear solution, all coming out at the same time. And of course, all showcasing the sound by Bose. And I think that's at the core of this entire experience. And depending on whichever one you go with, you're going to obviously be working in a different environment. So either you're using it to work out, to do some homework, to be on the road. We're going to check them out. We're going to see all of the things that make them special. And of course, they're all launching at the same time at IFA. So there's a lot of other things coming in from Baseus. So for now, let's check out these headphone solutions or this audio solutions, the Inspire series from Baseus, and see what makes them so special. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. So in front of us, we have all three solutions. This is the XH1, this is the XP1, and then this is the XC1. All of them are part of the Inspire series, and of course, all of them are sound by Bose. You'll notice that the moniker is actually present on all of the boxes, and there's obviously going to be different colors. This is the colors that were sent over to me, so just for reference, this is what we have. First and foremost, again, we talked about the fact that they're brand new. They're launching at IFA by Baseus, and this is obviously a brand new line of devices that are coming out. So a lot of new things, a lot of cool functional options, and we're going to check them out. We're going to start off with the XH1. First and foremost, obviously, they feature noise cancellation. LDAC will be the highest codec that we have support here. We have Dolby sound. We have up to 48 negative dB for ANC, and absolutely been testing it out. I went on a recent trip with this, and it's absolutely fantastic. On a plane, you cannot hear anything else. I was really suspicious about the battery life on this. When you say 100 hours on anything, it takes forever for that to be actually truly tested. But on my trip entirely, going and coming back, using the headphones in ANC and listening to audio, I barely got the actual battery down to 70%. And that's literally after over 20 hours worth of usage. So yes, the battery life is absolutely fantastic, and it is absolutely very, very long. Super Bass 3.0 is in addition to sound by Bose, so you're going to see a couple of options available here when we get into the settings. Real quick, lastly, here we have a seamless adaptive ANC here, transferring and reducing sound at up to negative 48 dBs in here. Of course, super comfortable cushioned ear cups so that you don't have any problems, up to 100 hours. Again, LDAC, Dolby Audio, sound by Bose, and of course, sound like never before. And it absolutely is. They're very nice, they're light, and they do come with a nice case. And as you can see here, this one, it's a hard shell case, and of course, a zipper, and we have a nice little strap in here on the side. Once you open it up, you're greeted with everything that comes in the box. We have the headphones themselves positioned in here, basically removed, and it tells you right and left, so you know exactly where to put them. Now the nice thing is that the case itself, or the top, is a Velcro configuration, which means you can actually seal it and make sure that none of these move. There's two cables in the box. There's the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, so obviously for wired connection for any of you want to use it in a wired configuration. And of course, a USB-C to C cable to charge up our headphones. Of course, when you're not using them, just position it this way and that way. You know that they're not going to fall apart. The headphones themselves are very nice. They're very, I would say, basically a lot lighter than what I thought they were going to be. And of course, we have a very nice articulation here in the arms, and of course, configuration. There's extension here with the actual arms on the side for both of them. There is an indicator R and L on the actual cups themselves. Very simple. They only open up front facing this way. So when you're listening to them and you want to put them on your shoulders, they kind of just sit open this side. And of course, you have them put them on, and they sit very comfortably. We have a cushioned material here. You can definitely see it here. Responds very nicely, and the ear cups are very comfortable. You can see them right there, and after using it definitely for an extended amount of time, you could definitely see not a lot of any kind of oil residue on them. So very nice and comfortable. And this is going to be the over-the-ear solution. So very, very nice. Now the next two are going to be the XP1 and the XC1. The XP1 is the in-ear solution. The XC1 is the open-ear solution, because they're more of clip-ons, and they clip on the outer part of our earlobes. Here, obviously, this just sits directly in there. Some of the main things that you'll notice between the two is that the LDAC codec and high-quality audio here is only supported on the XC1, so we don't have LDAC on this one, on the XP1. Dolby is in for both of them. We obviously have ANC up to negative 50 dBs. This one does not have any ANC, again, because it's open ear. IP67 here for water and dust resistance, so definitely great for workout. 40 here and 45 hours of playback on both. So both of them will feature Super Bass 2.0 for great deep sound. And I love the fact that they both, again, are sound by Bose. Some of the main differences as well here, we have 4 mic configuration as opposed to a 6 mic configuration, so better audio representation here for recording. 360 spatial audio positioned here on the in-ear solution, as well as the fact that they both have sound by Bose and up to with negative 50 dBs here, as we talked about with the ANC. So the sound on these are going to be very nice, and I will say that this has been the most surprising audio solution for me that I've been using. I've used many versions of these with different brands, but this one actually sounds really good, and they provide us great audio while allowing us to still be in the moment and listen to our surroundings. The over-the-ear solution has a USB-C port here, microphone, the headphone jack option, power on button, ANC button, multifunction button, as well as the play and pause, and of course the volume option here. There is no touch sensitivity on the side. Everything is configured via the buttons. Powering them on will automatically turn on the little LED light there, tells us that the actual units are on, and we'll give it a second here. It should automatically pair to the last device. The nice thing is all three of them actually feature multi-device connectivity. And you'll notice here we have up to 80% battery life. And when we look at the options that we have in here, we have noise reduction, we have transparency, and of course normal. The mode we're able to customize between adaptive all the way to custom, and of course different scenarios that you'd like to go through. Dolby Audio is something that you can turn on, and you can customize it between music and cinema. That is very nice and turned on. Now, we also have the EQ customizations in here. You have different options. We have the main default signature one by Bose, of course, as we have the collaboration there. These are going to be, well, they're basically going to be the best sounding option designed by the makers of these earbuds or headphones. So between the earbuds as well as the actual open ear and of course the headphones. Different custom EQs, and of course you can create your own. A lot of nice options. We do have a low latency mode for gaming, definitely very nice. And under sound settings, this is where you're able to turn on ANC as well as the ability of turning on bass boost. Now that's the bass boost option that we looked at the box in there. These will feature the highest level of bass boost compared by the other two because of this, the sheer size of the drivers that we have in here. LDAC options in here, and of course hearing protection. You can also turn that on to be able to reduce any potential issues with high level volumes when you're listening to music. Last but not least, of course, gesture settings in here. You can customize the button. As you can see here, you can go in and change the different options. And of course, we also have dual connections. This one doesn't have a management option. It just gives you the explanation of how to pair it. Simple way of saying it, between all three of these units, when you first pair it to one device, let's say this device, the N5 that we're using, next thing you do is you disconnect or turn off Bluetooth on the N5 and turn on pairing mode on the buds on the headphones and connect them to a new device. Once you have that, turn on Bluetooth on your main device and then pair them back into it, or basically connect to them since it's in the library. And at that point, you have dual configuration or dual device connection, and it'll work with the last two devices that you paired with. We can definitely see the connection with Bluetooth and of course the battery level. And this actually kind of marries itself to some of the other buds as well. When we open up the XC1s, it's pretty much same experience. We have the Dolby Audio, the EQ customization. We talked about them, configure them. Of course, the low latency mode, sound settings, you can go in there, turn on LDAC as well as enhanced battery life. The enhanced battery life just basically gives you a longer battery life by reducing some of the additional features that we have. Gesture settings in here are very nice. Dual device connection, we talked about them. One thing to mention, there is no touch on this. These are actually button configuration. Position on the top part of the bigger base area. You'll notice there's like a button on this side for both the right and left, so you can customize the experiences in here and change your settings. It's very straightforward. I did receive one software update. Oh, I didn't mean to turn them off. Now, those are the two options that offer us LDAC. When we jump into the in-ear solution, let's go ahead and step out real quick. I'll let the Inspire XC1 disconnect, as you can see right there. And then now we're going to jump into the XP1. And these are the in-ear solutions themselves. So we'll go ahead and give it a second to connect. Pretty much similar experience. Case level battery, the battery on the actual buds themselves, connection. Active noise cancellation here because we do actually have the option similar to the over-the-ear, and you can customize them to the way you want, even using adaptive. Dolby Audio present, you can turn it on, change between music and movies. Jumping into the EQ, you can also do the exact same thing, customize them. They're not in the ear, that's why it's not showing it right now, but you can customize them and pick the option that you want. Low latency mode for gaming, enhanced battery life, pretty much the same thing that we saw before. It pretty much reduces some of the functions to allow us to have a longer battery life. Dual device connection, gesture setting, and of course Inspire Care Plus. That's a service that they're offering. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. Everything pretty much kind of works the way it's supposed to. These earbuds are going to work great. Again, dual connection and all the customizations that you like. Now, how do they look on us? So for the most part, again, with the over-the-ear ones, pretty straightforward. You turn them on. Again, the articulation is very nice. I mean, they'll stow very nicely if you're not using them in the case, but if you use the case for them, it actually is very nice. Put them on. They go over the ear. They're not actually touching depending on the size of your ears, but for me, they fit perfectly. And of course, configuration, no issues at all. and they're very light and very comfortable actually, even for extended amount of time. As I mentioned, I wore them straight for about 10.5 hours on one of my segments on my last trip, and I did the exact same thing on the way back with on and off, taking them when I was having a meal and so on. But for the most part, as long as your system, even on a plane, just for reference, supports Bluetooth, you're able to actually turn these guys on and connect them and listen to them, the shows and everything in there over Bluetooth, which I feel like is a little bit more personal and will definitely beat anything that they give you on the plane. Now, the open ear solution are very straightforward. There's the bigger piece and the smaller piece. The smaller piece that has kind of like a built-in speaker that you can see will fit directly inside. So you basically clip it on the inside. And then for me, I just basically put it on the opening part of my ear. So it just sits like this and it kind of sits on the side. Similar, exact same thing on the left side. And I just put it in there and it actually sits very nicely. There's no additional spacers included in the box. For the most part, with this one is straightforward. You put them on, again, they look like earrings, but for the most part, you're going to get the benefit of having deep sound, rich sound, and bassy sound and still be open, well, still open experience, meaning I can hear how things are going around me. Meaning if somebody walks up to me, I can just basically click the button, stop the audio, have a conversation, not have to take anything out. And if I want to be able to just jump in and do my thing, this works really good. One thing I will say though, with these, if you're playing them at a much higher level, people around you can definitely hear a little bit of the music that you're listening to. That's just something inherently part of the design of what open ears are. But they're great for working, great to being aware and attentive with still the ability of listening to music at the same time. Now, of course, the last ones are the in-ear. Straightforward experience we've seen many times before. 6 microphones in here, definitely much more focused on that. Low latency mode, sound by Bose. And of course, we do have great fit because these sit directly inside and they sit within the inside part of the ear. They give us for the lack of a better term, like a the sound whenever you put them in, letting you know that the ANC is turning on and starting to reduce the sound in the environment up to -45. So I'm actually on the way to the launch event in Berlin, and I decided to capture a little bit of what I thought about this actual product. Well, the products themselves, since we actually have the Inspire series here, obviously the over-the-ear, in-ear, and of course, obviously open ear. Right now I'm on the XP1 earbuds, and these are the in-ear solutions. Now, the focus of these earbuds is a little bit different than the other two solutions that we have from the Inspire series. Mainly is that it's focusing on giving you the best ANC and the best audio pickup. This has 6 different microphones to be able to pick up the audio and get the best clear voice for phone calls, conference calls, also listening to music with really good bass options. You're able to add Bose sound system tuning in here, as well as Dolby, and of course bass up to be able to get that extra, drive if you'd like to listen to dance and EDM like I do. Now, I'm actually in a very, obviously, an environment where these are supposed to be tested. Up to -45 dBs, these absolutely sound fantastic. The moment you put them on, it just brings the entire environment down. I feel like the XP1s are great for people that like to exercise, people that like great audio, great ANC, and low latency mode, and great tuning with the Bose sound that we get directly here from the Baseus. Again, this is the XP1's in-ear solutions. Switching it over to the XC1. Now, the XC1 solution is a little bit different than the other ones because it's open ear. I'm actually listening to everything going around me, and I'm very aware. Also, the nice thing that was surprising to me is how powerful the sound is from these earbuds when you're listening to music. You could definitely drown out the outside sound, not entirely, but in general, if it's mildly noisy, you should be able to actually drown out that sound. Sounds really good. Even some bassy performance in here that we definitely appreciate here. These do support LDAC, which is definitely very nice. And we also have the ability of obviously, charging them again with the case. Everything kind of works great. All 3 of the Inspire series audio solutions feature dual connectivity, so you're not going to have any problems. And all 3 support Bose sound, so really, really nice. Low latency mode, EQ customization, LDAC, and of course, multi-connection really makes them very, very appealing. They're great for people that need to be in a situation like right now. I'm at the airport and I need to make sure to hear if there's an announcement where my flights are changing. I don't want to drown out the environment, and I don't want to be in my own personal space. So these are very great. If you're working in an office, you want to be aware but still jam to your music, it's going to work great. Audio performance is really good. Higher level codec performance is very nice. And again, the tuning is very much Bose and Dolby very much built into this. And you're able to actually feel some of the bass performance in here. They sound really good, and they have pretty decent pickup as well for when you want to have your phone calls. I think still these are going to perform the best, but these are obviously a very good solution for this type of work. So if this fits what you're looking for, I feel like these are going to be the better option than in-ear or even over-the-ear. The last ones obviously are the XH1. Now these are the over-the-ear solution, very comfortable. In my experience of using them traveling cross-continental flights, over 10-hour performance on these, and they are so comfortable. Very nice. The cushioning is very responsive. It's not rigid. It's actually very nice and nimble. And of course, you have that case that helps you carry them. And last but not least, of course, if you actually want to just put them on your shoulder, they definitely sit very nicely. I'm not going to try to touch where my microphone is, otherwise I'll make a little bit of too much muffling noise for you guys. These out of the three will perform the best. They have the highest ANC because of the function of how they look. They enclose our entire ear. They also support LDAC, and they also support up to 100 hours worth of playback. And I haven't been able to break that 100 hours, but I will say that going cross-continental twice, listening to music while I was during that trip and coming back, and still having about 70% battery life on these headphones is really nice. The audio is absolutely fantastic. The bass level up, the low latency mode, the dual connection, really, really good. And I was able to enjoy using these when watching movies on the flight. A lot of flights, not every film, but a lot of them are starting to support Bluetooth, and you can actually pair your device directly onto it with the dual connection. And this will support LDAC and dual connection at the same time. So the feature set, I feel like between the three, the XH1s are going to be the best. So with that being said, my hope is that you found some of these earbuds are actually some of these audio solutions fitting into what you guys look for audio, either be it over the ear, in ear, or of course open ear. I think Baseus is giving us really good options and a lot of different things to think about. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much for the support. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.